What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol ATER for Aterian Inc. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. This, of course, will be more of an update. We've covered this one semi-regularly now on the channel, and the main thing to discuss today is clearly the gap and go, right? Large movement to the upside, definitely, holding that gap, no filling of it whatsoever. So let's dive in and check that out from the intraday perspective, clean up some of these areas, and make some sense of what to expect going forward. So 1390 no longer really in play now that we've gapped up above it. So we're going to remove that drawing and really just focus on, let's grab the horizontal tool. Here we go. We're going to focus on the low of today at 1419 and of course the high of Friday, which would be the gap close down there at 1328. Now I'm not saying that I expect the gap to fill all of the sudden. I'm simply saying that if we do violate the low of day here, that's your first target, right? That's how gaps work, and that's how we're going to use it going forward. The next thing I want to adjust is of course this 1645 mark. You can see it slicing through sort of this choppy zone down here, but does this mean anything from the Fibonacci perspective? Let's take out that tool, go from the low of the move all the way on up to the high, and just see where some of our critical levels are. So certainly violated the 38.2 on the pullback here, violated the 50, but you'll notice that we never got a strong candle close underneath the 61.8, which is a good thing. That's of course the line in the sand when it comes to Fibonacci. So we'll clean that up and really adjust this structural area. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that and then go ahead and redraw it back in here. Switching tools quickly. Let's try that one more time. And that level to watch is just here at 1616. So slightly below prior structure from this double top where that level was coming from in the past. On any further pullbacks, you would want to see that hold. And obviously the most bullish outcome here inside of ATER, barring another gap up and go, right? If there's any sort of opening inside of today's range, then what you would expect to see is just some consolidation here and then a potential breakout to the upside up and over. Again, not cherry picking the high of today, but really this structural element here at 1850 to take us into our next overhead targets. And what are those targets from the daily perspective? You can certainly see that we have 2065, noting that that was this here. But keep in mind, green line here, 200 SMA from the daily perspective will be a bump in the road. So maybe expect a little hesitancy on our way up to 2065. And then after that, that's where the real clearance comes up to about $25.50 from our prior pivot right around here. That's the best case bullish upside scenario. Of course, we're favoring that since, of course, we had a large green-bodied candle punctuated by really solid volume coming in down below, but there's nothing saying that if this is violated here at 1616, then as we know, there's potential for the gap to fill. Now, if that happens, where is the pullback area to buy? Well, I would argue, right, if we just zoom in on the daily chart, you'll notice we have a support trend line in place, but that's fairly far away, right? So if there's any sort of intermediate pullback, what could we see, right? If I do something like this and try again with a secondary support trend line from this anchor right here, I'll go ahead and drag that on out to get some touches. You'll note that this is touch 1, touch 2 in here, and 3 right here. On a pullback, if this does something like this, comes to the low of today, maybe that's the buy. Maybe it's even sooner than that, right? Somewhere in here. So that would be something to monitor for if we take out that 1616. If it coincides here as super support, all the more reason to be on the lookout for any type of hammers, anything that would basically indicate, okay, this pullback's coming to an end. We can flip long over the highs and get back up into some of those targets up above with a stop just below the support trend line, horizontal area here, and the low of whatever reversal candle prints. So that's how I'm thinking about pullbacks here. On a violation of the secondary support trend line we just drew in, I would be very patient and wait to see how the reaction is at the primary if that does happen. Remembering that $11.20 is probably the line in the sand to the downside, noting that it was the pivot high that we cleared here and kind of led to this momentum move higher. So if we get back underneath that, probably stepping to the sidelines, waiting for some structure to build out and being patient inside of ATER. So those are my thoughts. It does look good for upside continuation, but please be mindful that, again, remember, I say this all the time on the channel, it's not a popular opinion, but it's something you need to know. Once something has gone parabolic, oftentimes it's not a good idea to be getting long up here towards the highs. You need to wait for some sort of risk-friendly pullback, because if you do get caught at the highs and it does pull back, oftentimes the pullbacks from parabolic movers go deeper and to places people don't want them to go in the first place, and that's just not a good feeling or a good part of trading to be wrapped up in. So if you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed the update, let me know down below in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.